It seems like in every Batman movie, we always get one or two of the exact same villains, like Riddler, Catwoman, Penguin, and the Joker. And although these villains have been done very, very well in the past, I believe that in Matt Reeves' sequels, Batman 2 and Batman 3, we could get some great unique villains that we had never seen in live action before, with unique stories that were explored during the first movie. And although we did get Riddler, and he's one of those big four that we see a lot in that first movie, he was done so incredibly well, and he was so dark in a good way that honestly I can ignore the fact that we've seen Riddler a lot in the past. And so moving forward into what I think we could get in Batman 2 and Batman 3, I'm not going to talk about Dick Grayson. I know he's likely going to be making an appearance and have a leading role in a sense in the next movie, or the Penguin show, because I'm not really too big on exploring that personally. I'm more going to be talking about the biggest stories that would be explored in Batman 2 and Batman 3. So let's go and dive on into it. Now, the first movie was a movie that absolutely blew me away the first time I'd watched it, and even the screen test for Robert Pattinson when he just tried on the Batsuit back in 2019 was a great tease to what we'd get later in 2022. I mean, the atmosphere, the characters, the story, even the runtime, I loved. I love those long movies where it feels like you just marinate in that story. Absolutely loved it. Now, if you haven't seen the first installment, I highly suggest watching it. It's been on Netflix since the beginning of December. So if you have Netflix, please just give it a watch. It is fantastic. You will not be disappointed. Now, with the spoiler warning out of the way, the summary of the first movie in just a couple of sentences is that Bruce Wayne, has only been Batman for about 2 years and is going down this rabbit hole of the corruption of Gotham City and is following the killings of this new killer known as the Riddler. And the Riddler is leading Batman, not knowing it's Bruce Wayne, down the rabbit hole of the history of the Waynes and the Arkhams, as well as the corruption of Gotham City. And by the end of the movie, the Riddler gets locked up in jail. He meets the Joker, who is very briefly teased by the end of the movie, and Gotham City then gets flooded due to Riddler's plan, and the optimistic and seemingly ideal candidate, Bel Royale, wins the election for Gotham's new mayor. Now, in the sequels, I'd love to see each one of these stories explored even more. The Waynes and the Arkhams, and the corruption of Gotham City. Because I believe Gotham City is truly not cured at all. It's still going to be as corrupted as ever in the sequels. And I believe that since we ended the first movie on a good amount of hope for the future of Gotham City, I think we should let that story sit for just a minute and have the second movie focus more on the Waynes and the Arkhams. And with that, I'd choose my villain to be Thomas Arkham. Not Thomas Elliot, but it is still Hush. Hush was seemingly teased in the first movie when Riddler is showing Bruce the history of the Waynes and the Arkhams. The word Hush briefly does appear, and I would just believe that Hush thematically and story-wise would be a great villain choice for the second movie. Now, in regards to the name change from Thomas Elliot to Thomas Arkham, may I direct you to none other than the Riddler, who, yes, is not Edward Nygma like he is in the comics and previous incarnations. He is instead Edward Nashton. And so if the Riddler can be changed in that way, then I think Hush could be changed in this way, and it would fit just fine, just a cosmetic change to let it fit the story even better. Now, just like Thomas Elliot in the comics, Thomas Arkham would be presented as Bruce Wayne's childhood friend who had grown up to become his own man, and would be a glimpse into the future for Bruce Wayne if he were to continue down the path of Batman and not develop his personality of Bruce Wayne. As in the first movie, we don't really get to see a lot of development for the Bruce Wayne identity. It's usually always Batman. So in the second movie, to have Hush be the villain and have Bruce forced to develop that side of his identity. It's going to be a great change of pace from the first movie, developing this other half of this individual. And by the end of the movie, it's going to be Bruce Wayne who defeats Hush rather than Batman. And I think that would be a great sort of juxtaposition from the first film, where instead of Batman saving the day, Bruce Wayne saves the day. Now, after Bruce Wayne discovers the history of his family and the Arkhams, Gotham should still be as corrupt as ever, and after the death of Carmine Falcone and the exploration of the Arkhams, why isn't Gotham cured yet? Well, because Carmine Falcone was just a pawn. I know, classic trope, the one villain of the early movie is the pawn in the later movie, but when it's the Court of Owls that Batman has to go up against, I think this fits just fine. Now, when Riddler was researching and finding out the plans that he would have in the first movie, he was not able to even know the Court of Owls even existed in the first place. So, for those of you who might be wondering why Riddler wouldn't be smart enough to decipher that, he wasn't even smart enough to decipher that Bruce Wayne was even Batman in the first movie. So, I think this will fit in just fine. And so, Bruce Wayne would need both him and the Batman identities to fully defeat this new villain in the Court of Owls and their talons. And throughout the movie, it would have that who can I trust or who can I not trust sort of story mechanic. I think that's the word, story mechanic. And perhaps the court is even behind the deaths of not only Bruce's parents, but even Hush's parents. And it may even be necessary for Bruce to reveal his true identity to defeat the Owls and to even defeat the idea of the Court of Owls. So that way a new court couldn't rise up in the old one's place. And whereas instead of the Dark Knight trilogy, where Bruce Wayne fakes his death, killing the Batman and going off to live with Selina Kyle by the end of the movies, perhaps in this one, Bruce Wayne has to fully give his life entirely and not fake his death, to actually die to purify Gotham and leave the story with maybe Dick Grayson actually going on to having his own Nightwing spinoffs for once. One can only hope. And that's how I think we could get Batman's number 2 and Batman number 3. And if you liked this video, I hope you consider subscribing. And again, if you did like this video, please check out this other one where I talk about how I would love to see The Amazing Spider-Man 3, assuming we are able to get it. And so, with that all being said, I hope you have a very lovely day.